Hey guys, and welcome back to another one of my videos. So as requested by some of you, today I'm going to be making pasta for my 1000 sub special. I did a live stream and a few people wanted me to basically make pasta from scratch. Now I'm not really a good cook myself, so today my grandma is going to be helping me. But we have all the ingredients that we need right here, and we are pretty much good to go. So first we're going to make the dough. Now bear with me throughout this entire video. I've never cooked before, like anything professional or like from scratch myself, so I'm pretty bad when it comes to most things in this video, but thankfully I had my grandma there to help me with this whole thing, so a big special thanks to her. So what are we doing here is I added 4 eggs and then I added some oil as well. And now we're basically going to mix this together and combine it into a nice dough. Now I have to say the consistency was pretty strange. I never really, it doesn't really feel like anything, if that makes sense, but it's very just gooey. It actually reminded me of my childhood because my grandma used to always give me a small bit of dough when she was making pie or something, and then I would just like play around with it and not make anything out of it. So it's pretty satisfying to play with, but at the start it's very sticky and it's kind of messy. You do have to get your hands dirty and fingers. As you can see here, my grandma added a bit of flour so that it's not as sticky. But yeah, I gotta say this was pretty interesting to do, as didn't do it for years, and then going back to it was really interesting. So after combining it for a little while, it did take a few minutes because we had to add another egg, and we did have to add a little bit more flour to it. But we managed to get it combined and basically get it in one piece, to say it like that. At the end, my grandma had to come in clutch to kind of help me and show me how it's done, or how do you basically mix it properly. So then at the end, I just finished it. I squished it a little bit more just to get it more nice and refined, to say it like that. This is how our dough turned out. It looks pretty nice. And what are we going to do now is I'm going to put it on a plate, and I'm just going to cover it, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes or so, just so that it kind of settles and calms down. While the dough is calming down, I'm going to cut some tomatoes for our sauce. I have actually never before cut or sliced tomatoes. Well, actually I have, but not in this kind of order. So nobody actually showed me how to do it. So I just kind of was going off of my image from the video that I was following on how to do this. So yeah, you gotta be careful with the knife, but I basically cut those into small pieces. I only did 2. I didn't want to do 3 because I think that would be too much. So 2 was enough, and then I put that on a plate. And at the while in the background, my grandma sliced some onions as well. So here we have our freshly cut tomatoes. We have onion and garlic. We have butter, and we have our tomato sauce that my grandma actually made from scratch. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the actual sauce. So I'm going to add some cooking oil. My grandma is in the background basically telling me how much I should add and what should I do. So we're going to put some oil, and then immediately we're going to throw our onions on without the garlic. So first we're going to just cook the onion. And then after that, you're gonna basically just slowly cook it. Not let it change color, but just you have to stir it around a lot. And after that, and after you've been stirring it for quite some time, just make sure that it doesn't burn. And then after stirring it, we're going to add our garlic. And then you're basically just going to continue stirring that just for a little, like, few minutes or so. After that, my grandma is going to add some butter as well. And now I actually thought you need to wait for the butter to melt, but my grandma said that it's better if you not wait and just add tomatoes on top of that. So that is what we did here, as you can see. And now we're basically just going to let everything kind of melt down while continuing to stir it. And also down the road, we're going to add our tomato sauce that my grandma made. So we're just going to add that and we're going to continue to stir it. I thought it was going to be too runny with the sauce, but actually at the end, as you'll see, it turned out quite nice. Now here at the start, you just stir it for a little bit and then you basically just cover it and leave it be. Of course, we're going to add some seasonings, so we added some salt, some pepper, and some basil. And we're just going to let that settle. You can add anything else if you want, but we just did it simple and we just added some seasoning and then we just let that cover and sit down. After 30 minutes, we're going to take out the dough of the fridge, put it down, and now we're basically going to flatten it until we have a thin enough dough so we can cut it, so we can slice it for our pasta. Now I have to take some, now I messed up here because I didn't flatten the dough enough. It was still way too thick after flattening it, but it is my first time doing it. I never actually did this before, so I'm quite proud of how it turned out. But later my grandma did say that the dough is supposed to cover at least half of this table, like it's supposed to be really thin, and then you cut it into individual cubes and then you roll up those cubes and that's how you slice the pasta. But as you can see, this is how big I've gotten it to, and I was pretty happy with that because my hands did kind of hurt after all that rolling. And now we're just going to roll this up kind of like a sushi and we're gonna cut it. So now we're going to cut it into, we're not going to do the whole thing. So I just did a half, that's what my grandma said, and the other half I just saved for later. So now as you can see here, I'm just going to slice as thin as I can, even though this was very, very thick dough. So this is what I ended up at the end, and this I saved for later. And now I've gotten myself a plate, and I'm basically going to unroll these in a plate, and that is our basically pasta shape. Now, like I said before, it did turn out quite thick, but as it was my first time, I was actually happy with it. So this is how it looks. As you can see, it's really thick, but that's okay. So now we're going to go over and we're going to put it in our boiling water. I don't know why I got scared here, maybe because some of the water got on my hand, but I don't know why I jumped there. So after adding it to the water, we're just gonna stir it for a little bit, and this did take quite some time to boil. I want to say 15 minutes, maybe 20, because the dough was just super thick. But yeah, we just put it on the water and let that boil. And of course, stir it around a little bit just so that the bottom does not stick. And we also salted the water as well. So here's how our sauce turned out. As you can see, it's not too thick, but not too runny. I'd say it's a perfect amount, and yeah, I'm quite glad how it turned out. And here's how the pasta turned out as well. Now I'm gonna say I'm pretty happy with this, not gonna lie. I could have made it a bit thinner, so much thinner, but hey, for the first attempt, I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. And then we all sat down to eat, and of course to give the our final ratings. I'm not gonna lie, it turned out pretty nice, and it was really, the sauce was really good. I didn't expect it to turn out as good. When it comes to the ratings, my dad gave it 8 out of 10. I also I would say 8 out of 10 as well, and my grandma gave it 9 out of 10. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me badly cooking. Let me know in the comments of if I did everything okay or if we messed something up. This was my first time cooking, so bear with me on this entire video. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and huge thanks to my grandma for making this video possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.